Hey, it's Les from the TV Dudes. While at Austin Film Festival, I got to sit down with the directors and writer behind the film Fishbowl, which premiered at the festival. Stephen and Alexa Kinigopolous and writer Piero Iberti sat down with me to discuss how they got the idea for the film, their working process, and much more. I also roped in producer Meg Dudley for a couple of questions. We had a great chat, and I hope you enjoy. You guys are here for Fishbowl.
Yes.
The trailer for that looks amazing. Like somewhere between Malik and Virgin Suicides to me. Like I was really, really impressed, and I'm very much looking forward to this now.
Thanks. Yeah.
Can you talk a bit about how the project came about, Piero's script, how y'all came to it?
Yeah. So basically, well, it started from Alexa was doing a photo shoot, and with those outfits, the private school girl outfits, and I decided to tag along with our cinematographer Levi Magyar, and we ended up shooting film while she shot photos. And on the way home, we decided what are we going to cut this with. So we wrote like a little 30-second monologue just for one of the models to say. And when I got home, I cut it, and then we decided we should make it into a movie. And that's basically kind of the genesis of it.
Is storytelling something that you're conscious of in all your still photography?
Yes, I love more cinematic. I love all there's so many different types of photography, and I do some like photojournalistic types, but I generally love photo shoots that are extremely cinematic, that are telling a story. One of our favorite themes is really like voyeurism, and I like to bring that kind of so you feel like you're there. So that was one of the really important things for us to kind of put in the movie. And we've been working on projects and with Piero, but it was really important for us to kind of bring that small town feel, all the stuff we love, we pretty much put into the film.
You guys like peeking behind doors.
We do like peeking behind doors. And small towns.
When it came time to flesh out a longer story for this, can you talk a bit about the process or the interplay of how the plot came about?
Sure. First of all, thanks for having us. Really appreciate it. And I'll speak louder because I have a softer voice, as you guys know. I've just to give a little background for you. I've known these guys for the past 6 years now, so that sort of creative wavelength and partnership started back then, and Steve and I, and then Alexa and I developed this sort of language together where they would have great ideas, and I'd be like, awesome, I don't have to come up with as many ideas, and I just sort of take the ball and run with it. So, because we always joke about that, but it actually sort of evolved naturally into a pretty collaborative process of co-writing. So Steve and Alexa had that idea. They sent me, I was just coming off script coordinating for The Deuce, and I had some time off, so it was perfect timing. They sent me sort of the early teaser, visual ideas, conceptual type stuff, and I sort of asked them where they wanted to go with it, and from there we sort of asked the questions of who are our characters in this world, because you guys said there were characters in the photo shoot, but there wasn't really characters yet fully in a way. So we first sort of asked ourselves that was where I felt my sort of contributions could come in, who are our characters, what is this world, and what themes are we trying to revolve around. You guys are always great with laying the groundwork with themes. It was kind of and then it just became we sort of outlined everything over the course of the next few weeks, and then it was just a back and forth, just trading the scripts back and forth, and that's how we tend to work, right?
You co-directed music videos together, is that right?
Yes, we do. We live in Nashville.
Was it a growing pain or a jump moving to a feature-length project?
Actually, we did the feature-length project kind of first.
We did it first.
We really learned.
Yeah,
How to work
our
with
biggest
each other
learning,
and-
our biggest learning curve was the feature,
Yeah,
which helped
I think
with the
so.
music videos. But the cool thing about so we get some commercial work, and it's great, and it pays well. But the great thing about music videos, it gives you the opportunity to make little features. When you do a narrative music video, it gives that fulfillment to the same likes of doing a feature.
It's really good practice, I think.
It is.
Videos. And we love them. I think it's kind of coming back. It was a dying art for a minute, but I think that they're so iconic. I mean, we've always been inspired by them. I just remember growing up and like starting music videos. It was like so important to me. So, but we definitely learned a lot on set, especially that's really the first thing. Full on, we directed together, and that was an amazing. We worked really well together. Like definitely there's some being siblings, but then it's also cool because there are certain times where you don't even need to say anything to each other. You just like know and then move on to the next scene or whatever.
I was going to ask how much advantage is that shorthand on set of being able to kind of know what each other, what's going to, nope, Alexa's not going to like that. I'll tell you that.
It definitely helps speed up the process in that, and I think like my strength, I wouldn't call them weaknesses, but we're stronger in each other's weaker aspects,
Yes,
I would say,
we're very
for
different.
sure. And I think it helps expedite time and efficiency. And also, we also know what we want. And it's just, so...
And then I come in and overthink everything.
Yes,
Help
which
you
is
guys
why
motivate.
it's a beautiful team, and then Meg's really practical.
And then I tell them
same
no.
with Carl. But it's like you need all of that. You know
But
what I
Meg,
mean?
you're also a writer too, so it's
Yes,
helpful
and so
from that
she is
perspective.
like will really make you think about things too.
Yeah, and the whole thing is, it was a very organic process because everyone on the crew is either blood or family in another way, like for sure. Even some of the actors in it, like we had our best friend's grandma have a few lines and just be themselves, but with these lines, and we made it work like that. And everyone, it was like having a dream team. There are
It was our
people.
hometown,
We
so.
grew up on the set of The Wire, so there, I would watch their dogs in the trailer while the directors were out directing, like things like that. And now those makeup artists and other crew members were actually working side by side as colleagues, and then people we were growing into the industry with, running coffees, like even Piero and Meg at one point, the best damn coffees too, by the way. And and now we're side by side. Everyone that made such a huge impact on our film career was now side by side with us, like doing this for real, and that was like really
And
rewarding
including
and special.
George, our producer, George Pelicanos, who's
Our mentor,
Yeah.
I would say, for sure.
Yeah, Meg, I know you're a producer on this, and I know on indie features, it always kind of has to be. I mean, everybody really has to want to be there, or
if it's low
or it
budget
just
or
stops.
indie
It just
film.
won't happen. What was it like? I know you worked on larger productions. I mean, on the Deuce, there's money behind that, and maybe you don't have to sweat so many
an Independence
details.
Day, the Deuce,
Yeah, sorry. Was it? Were there particular frustrations or challenges that you ran into in trying to produce? No problem.
No, not at all.
Nothing.
It was just, no. Well, so, like Piero said, we've been working together for the past 6 years. We did a bunch of short films together in New Orleans where Stephen would direct, Alexa would do everything else, and I would produce, and Piero did some of those as well for the first one. So, I mean, there are things that you obviously learn working with certain people, like what's going to come up, but it was definitely an independent film. So just like pulling everything together on that type of like schedule and budget is.
How long was the shoot?
It was like a 35-day shoot, I think.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. What was interesting that I just kind of came up when I was thinking about that was that we were so like really like an old school indie movie that how For Tree of Life, which is one of my favorite films, Terrence Malick, had different departments in different homes, it was like that. But it wasn't like per choice in having budget. It was literally like there were people staying at my parents' home. We kept the wardrobe like in the house. In the morning, I would go with the girl and the costume designer, and I'd pick out. I mean, we scheduled ahead of time too. But like if we wanted to change it up, like we would go and pick the girls' outfits with them in the morning, like in the house.
And drive down the street to shoot.
Drive down the street to pick out the outfits, hang out there. The girls would sleep in the bed that became their bedroom. That was really, like, I have so many photos of them. They became so close, and they would always take naps. So it wasn't like they didn't have the trailer to go back to. They slept in their own bedroom, and we'd have to, like, Meg would have to go wake them up. So it was really interesting how it kind of, like, it molded, and it became this family, and it was really beautiful experience.
In putting together the trailer, Tree of Life is actually specifically the Malick movie that it made me think of. There's something about this.
The boys love Malick.
What do y'all feel the themes of the movie are, or what are you hoping audiences go home and think about?
I think it's a lot about faith, and the other thing we just love, and anything I think anyone at this table loves, is the human condition. I think we love to have as a theme and discovery within our films, but
I think really how someone reacts in a time of stress, in a time of the girls are going through a period where their mom is not involved and their dad is kind of having a nervous breakdown. He thinks the rapture is coming. So to see these 3 different girls all react differently and like lose some personality traits or gain some, like one of our characters kind of becomes mute. She just stops talking. And so, like, her character journey is really interesting, and, like, especially with her dad, and, like, just kind of really into no bullshit and, like, really challenging people and we're really fascinated by seeing what people do in, like, a fucked up situation, or just, like, in life. So, pretty much, I think that's one of our main themes. And religion's in there a little bit, and then also what's also important is that the girls are growing up, so sexuality is really important, and I think it's not discussed enough, and like especially for younger women. So that was something that we really wanted to put in there, because there are a lot of people who are raised super religious, and it's like, how do you kind of grapple with being sexy or feeling sexuality or feeling unsure about yourself and feeling guilt or not feeling guilt. So that definitely had a lot to do with the film as well.
I think there was also, like, one of the cool things for me, like, coming in and writing it with you guys was, like, writing women's voices, strong women's voices.
You did a great job.
Thanks. That's good to hear. But mainly also, like, this film was sort of unique in how we found the ultimate story, because I feel like it's kind of always shifting between several themes throughout the whole movie, because one of the strengths is that we kind of don't really have a central protagonist. Like, there's multiple throughout the movie, and you're experiencing, I mean, obviously it's mainly the girls who are
like one
experiencing, but, you know, the themes sort of come through each of the characters' individual journeys. So there's also, like, how you process loss, who you take refuge in times where sort of unthinkable, unspeakable tragedies happen, and then also, like, how you handle faith when everything around you is seeming to fall apart and your father is not being your father, and you have to, like, take control of your family. So we liked kind of shifting between these like sort of these rotating shells of themes as the movie progresses. But yeah, I mean, I think at the heart of it, it's ultimately a movie about how you discover your faith, and where you discover your faith.
Forgive me, is this the world premiere at Fantastic?
Oh yeah.
So have y'all gotten to watch it with any audiences yet?
We watched it with our casting crew,
but not a crowd of strangers.
I'm so excited for that.
That's great. And this might be I always wonder in today's age of Netflix, just camping on Film Fest sometimes. And I was at Fantastic Fest a couple of weeks ago, and 3 of the things I saw hit Netflix in under a month from the fest. Where I was going, I'm watching a movie that's already, that's going to be out Friday.
Oh my God.
Have y'all found has your experience with it been any different than in the past as far as more distribution? Does it feel like a better time to try to get an indie movie out, or is that made a glut of content that's harder to get seen in?
I think we're hoping so.
Yeah, I think that things are a lot more accessible. I remember when Netflix, I definitely think some of the streams have, now that there are more films, kind of the quality, on some of them the quality has gone down, but then there's also amazing plethora of films that you can't see. The good thing is that it's accessible. At first you're kind of I love cinema, I want to be how books are. I still can't get over people reading books on their iPads.
Yeah,
but a movie, I just want someone to kind of see it, so I've kind of gotten used to the idea that that's the positive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the balance between I think it being inundated with content, but also you're saying opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So
and
these things don't just play and vanish.
I know.
Right.
David Lynch once said, and that's why I love David Lynch, because there's technicality-wise, there are a lot of people who only will shoot film, and being crew people, I used to work in the art department, I worked with directors who only will shoot on film. There's some who still do, and then some that are I will shoot a movie on a cell phone or 4K, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's kind of in the end, he always says, as long as someone's seeing it, it's important. So I kind of think you just have to be honored that people are going to get a chance to see it.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be good in the industry.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, and thank you guys so much for the time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, see you Saturday?
Monday.
Monday. Okay.
Alexa, do you want to tell him how much you love podcasts?
I love podcasting. I was really excited. A lot.
Cool.
Upset. My boyfriend and I have a farm, and so I'm in the field a lot. So it sounds random, but it's a lot of work. And the thing that really keeps me going is listening to podcasts in the field, because it's just perfection.
That's awesome. What's your
So
favorite?
your medium is...
Oh my god, that's a really hard question.
I absolutely know it's not going to be the TV Dudes.
It's TV Dude.
It's TV
Spoiler
Dude.
alert.
TV Dudes 1 and 2, and then
Okay,
Serial
TV
up and down.
TV Dudes, number 1.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast and a member of the Electric Sweater Podcast Network. We are exclusively listener-supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/TVDudes. You can like us on Facebook and Twitter @TV Dudes. All the music for our show is by our friend and original TV Dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith. To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com and electricsweater.com. I'm Grant Davis. Thanks for listening.